Howdy everybody in YouTube land. So what we have in front of me is a big CRT. Actually, this is an IBM PS2 VGA monitor, the model 8512 I think it is. There's the rest of it down here. Anyways, I took this apart, I don't know, probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago. This thing has got a ton of hours on it. I remember it had insufficient vertical height, and I didn't think about doing a video at the time. But it had insufficient vertical height, and the picture was very soft. It just did not look good at all. So we need to do some investigation and repair, restoration work on this thing. So with the insufficient vertical height, it's probably the capacitors bad surrounding this heatsink, because this is a vertical output IC, and you can see there's a cluster of 3 caps there. One of those is probably bad, but considering this thing has so many hours on it, especially this guy over here, I'm just going to change them all. Even if they're not necessary, they're all getting changed. This thing is old enough to have a TO3 transistor on the side of it here. Anyways, so it might seem like I'm jumping from project to project, and yeah, I am, because I've got a lot of these projects that are half finished, and I got tons of footage from other projects that are still in process, because anybody that's not lived under the rock the last couple of years knows that we have a supply chain problem and a problem with semiconductors and just getting parts in general. Plus the cost of parts have risen astronomically, so I try to do bulk orders. So I'm trying to get everything done and out of the way. Plus I've got a big thing coming up here soon, and I don't know 100% yet, but there's a strong likelihood within the next 3 to 6 months I'm going to be moving. So with that said, I can't move stuff that is half taken apart and all that. So I need to get this finished, and I still have the Macintosh TV over there that's got to be done, and it's waiting on parts, and it's a nightmare. So I need to get all of this stuff done and out of the way before I can begin the move. So anyways, I don't want to get my hopes up just yet, because who knows, but I'm really hoping that things pan out and I'm going to be moving within the next 3 to 6 months. But yeah, anyways, so that's a little bit off topic for the video, but I took this apart so long ago, I do not remember how it goes back together. I have a nice bag of random screws, and then all of my shields and stuff are down there. But yeah, so the other thing that happens with these 8512s is they're kind of notorious for the flybacks going bad, and it'll have drifting focus and other weird issues going on. So that's why I made sure when I got this monitor to pick up a spare flyback transformer. I got a brand new one here, new old stock. So if the flyback is indeed bad, I'm going to change it. Otherwise, I am not going to use this. I'm going to leave it off to the side, because you're not going to get any more of these. So once I pop this out and picked it up, that's it. So I'm going to hang on to that in case it's necessary in the future when this one finally fails. I may pick up a spare horizontal output transistor just because. But in the meantime, I know we need to get the capacitor parts list together for this, which I'm going to do shortly, because I've got to get this thing wrapped up and got to get it put back together, because it goes to a machine that, well, it's still sitting on my shelf. So now the next thing is, because of how many hours is on this thing, look how toast that CRT is. That's the second part. That's the second part to this equation. So I have to test the CRT, because the picture was kind of dull and soft. Now it could be the capacitors because of how the insufficient vertical height is, but it could just equally as be the CRT itself being bad. So if the CRT is worn into the ground, which I believe it is, I'm gonna have to think of something else. So let's take a look at the front of it. I haven't had this up and out of the way here in forever. So, oh yeah, there we go. Whew, I don't want it falling over. I need to hold that while grabbing my flashlight. It's not the best condition monitor. There's some dings and stuff, but for what it wasn't too bad. So let's see, what do we have here? Do we have any burn-in that I can see? Not really. I mean, it doesn't have a very good dot pitch, but yeah, it does have some burn-in. Right here at the top, there's like a title bar burn-in from DOS software or something. I need a tripod. So yeah, it does have some burn-in. Oh, for sure. You can definitely tell. Well, not in the camera. You can kind of tell there's a bar from probably from First Choice or WordPerfect or something like that. So the CRT is definitely burned in. Yeah, so I'm not holding high hopes for this monitor. That's why I shelved it. But yeah, I gotta double check all that. So I think the next thing we need to do, how about a little bit of fun? How about we go grab the CRT tester and let's test this monitor, this tube, and see the condition it's in. I think that would make for a good video. So these older CRT testers, a lot of these older CRT testers do not have the sockets for these more modern CRTs. So what I do is I made this little adapter which plugs into the old style black and white, which I actually have a socket for right here, and broke out to these clip leads. I don't have any labels yet, but what I did do was I printed out the sheet to the tin BP4 or ABP4 or whatever, and it gives me the pinout, so I know the heaters, grid 1, grid 2, and the cathode, and the corresponding wires to those. So, but the cool thing about this is, on the back of the original CRT neck board is the diagram of what they actually are. There's G2, there's the green cathode, heater, black cathode, red cathode, everything I need to determine where they're going to go on here. So now I can actually wire that up for the purposes of entertainment and see how this thing works. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get this wired up for, well, let's check red. I went ahead and connected the, this is my cathode lead. I went ahead and connected to the green cathode there because it's the closest to me. So let's get this into filament set and adjust that down and see if it will actually work. Yeah, it's drawing current. So let's bring this guy up to about 6.3 roughly. See if we're getting heaters. Yeah, we are. So no shorts, gun balance. Oh, I got good gun balance. Set it there. Alright. The green's good. Let's see what the life test does. Oh, actually, let's set the bias to normal. I don't know what the bias is supposed to be on this CRT, so we're going to set it to normal. Not like you're going to find that tube number in the manual. So, alright, check emission. Oh yeah, that's way good. Alright, so that's actually still good. So let's do a life test here. Life test is solid on green. So we'll turn the power off. Let's see, we know the green is good. Let's do the red. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do the red. Turn the power on. That was quick. Set the red. Let it warm up a bit. Get the gun balance set. We're red set. Red's really good too. Let's do a life test. Live test is holding. So red's really strong. So it's a strong CRT there. So let's check blue. Blue is the very end here. So let's move the blue. Oh, it's going to be tight. Trying to do this without, let's move that out of the way. Because I don't want to unwrap this, because trying to get shoving all those parts in there is like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Alright, so there is blue. So let's set blue. See if the emissions jump right up. They do. Set the gun balance, let it warm up. So filament, we're running about 6.3 volt. All filaments are glowing. So there. Oh yeah, that CRT is strong. Do another live test. Yeah, live test is holding. Alright, so this CRT is actually good. I'm surprised. So that CRT should still produce a very strong picture, very bright picture. But it's not, and likely because of the bad capacitors on the analog board itself. So in this group too is the power supply board. It's separate. So I need to get a cap list of all of these boards so we can move on. But it sucks because the burn-in that's on the screen, it's very minor. It's very, very minor. But it is there. So I have a solution for that. In that box, I got this years ago, in that box is a brand new old stock CRT for that particular model. Supposedly it's compatible. It looks the same. Whether it is or not, I don't know. So again, I have a way to make it perfect with little repercussions as to what's going on. There's another one down there, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, I have a brand new old stock sitting over here in the corner, so I can actually replace that CRT as well as the new old stock flyback. So yeah, I think at this point I could either keep the CRT or I can replace it. So it's kind of, what do I want to do, you know? And I could replace the CRT and I could replace the flyback and make this monitor basically new again. But then, now what? I wonder if I could just, because the amount of, I'm going to use it, I'm inclined to leave the flyback alone. It's not dead yet. I got to see how the focus plays up the longer it's on, to see if it drifts or anything like that, you know. But I could also leave the CRT alone too, because as we saw, it tests fairly strong. So it should throw a good picture. We'll see. We'll see. But one thing that does have to happen is new caps have to be thrown in there. But if it looks good after that, then I'd say leave it alone and just run it into the ground, because we've got replacement parts. So I can do that. Anyways, I've got projects for days that I need to go through, so we'll just do one at a time. So yeah, I have to get this stuff together before I move, and here's why. I mean, look at this place. I'm literally like I'm in here. My house is turned into a workshop, and I can't separate the living space from the workshop space. So I mean, my couch has become a collection of just random parts because I do not have the room to put anything anywhere. So I literally have to have a bigger place, and that's what I'm working on right now. I do have, you know, I want to have the basement and the upstairs floor to where I can actually have the workshop separate, completely away from the upstairs main area, where I can make the regular old living area, you know. But anyways, so working on that. It's all up in the air whether that happens or not. I don't know yet, but I'm hoping it does, because yeah, that's going to be nice. So here in about 3 to 6 months, as long as everything goes through, I'm going to be moving, and it's going to be nice. But anyways, for now, I think I'm going to start getting the capacitor list together, and we'll especially check that for leakage to see if we have any leaking caps, because if I'm looking at this board, I do not see any caps immediately that are leaking, but we'll see. This one's definitely been hot, because you can see the heat shrink has pulled away, so I know that one's probably going to need replaced. One of these three is bad, which is why I have insufficient vertical height. So yeah, and I got to get this tin off and see what's underneath that too. So let's get all of this off the bench and get it all put up. Since we know the CRT is good, we'll get that out of the way and we'll start working on the rest of it. So the next thing I want to do is get this power supply apart so I can figure out exactly what's going on in there. So let's do that now, because I do not know, you know, if there's any leakers in there or what yet, but we're going to find out here soon. This is where a tripod would be very helpful. I've got a small one that sits on the table, which you've probably seen in other videos. The issue is it takes up my whole section over here, so I only have so much room to take these apart. I think when I move, I'll probably end up getting a floor tripod and just doing it that way, but I'm trying to justify the cost because I don't get a whole lot of views on my channel. It's not one of those popular ones, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that, but it just doesn't seem like it's very popular. Anyways, oh god damn. STK, I hate you. I hate STKs. So, yeah, this thing has got some hours on it for sure. 1989. Yeah, this is... Oh boy. Alright, well, the interesting thing is this a switching one? Yeah, it is. I see the transformer in there. I thought it was one of those linear regulated ones. Yeah. A lot faster when I do it that way, especially when I'm holding the camera in one hand. Says here 265 volts. I don't know about all that, but considering this is a high frequency switching power supply, biggest thing to worry about is leaking capacitors on the secondaries, which we're going to find that out right now. Probably haven't turned this thing on since 2015 at least. Alrighty then, so what do we have? More of these weird funky ones. It appears this whole thing was made by Hitachi. I don't see any signs of, well, maybe, because you can kind of see staining on the board around this stuff. So yeah, maybe. Maybe. Alright, what does it take to get this board out? What's going to be fun is right here. Is that is part of this. And I don't think that is going to want to come out. Alright, what does it take to get this board out? Something has to get undone here. Looks like the rear comes off. Maybe. Or maybe that comes off. I don't know. Let me work at this for a minute and get this apart so we can take a look at it. I was able to slide that out. I had to release this tab, let it fall down, and then unsolder the primary wires and then remove the switch, but everything slid out. So I now have the board out, and from what I can tell, this crap that's on the board I don't think is electrolyte, because if I flip it over, the board's kind of full of that crap, but you can see holes from where the caps are, and if you look carefully, I don't see any signs of leakage. So these caps are probably okay. I mean, who made them? This doesn't really matter. They're all old at this point. Daewoo. That's a brand I've never heard of. Or is that Daewoo? Yeah, it is. That's a brand of a capacitor I've never heard of, but they're all good. They're all holding up, so. But I'm going to change them anyways because of how many hours is on it and how old these things are. And the fact that I've got vertical collapsing issues, so they all need to go. They're probably dried out slightly. But yeah, they're going to go. I'm going to get a cap list together, and then we're going to start replacing them. which the replacement part will happen in another video since I have to order parts. Before I start getting the capacitor list together on this one, I wanted to take a look at this one real quick. And besides this over here, we got to look what's under this shield, so I have to unsolder those and pop this shield off. But perhaps more importantly, I've noticed on this board what's happening here. The top is domed on that one, and especially this one, from just being exposed to heat. You can see it pretty excessively there. So that one's bad, probably. That one's bad. This one's not far behind it. So yeah, we're getting to the point to where, you know, because you can see this thing's had a lot of heat here. So we're gonna have to do all of these. They're likely bad, so we're gonna do all of those. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on this board I need to pay closer attention to. Probably not, but the interesting thing is the brands are all Daewoo. Well, with the exception of this one. What is this one? What is that one? Daewoo. Yeah, they're all Daewoo. Every one of them are Daewoo. Yeah, this whole chassis is made by IBM, but... or not IBM, but Hitachi. Huh. Yeah, this one definitely has got to go. This one's got to go. That one's got to go. They've been hot, so... that's going to affect... that's probably... you know what? This is probably why my picture is real soft and crappy looking. That would definitely do it. Okay. So yeah, I definitely want to take a look at all these before I get carried away. So yeah, I'm going to need both hands to pull this shield off. It's a good thing I opened that shield because, yeah. Now, I get this question every once in a while, and I see these in other videos. Are all these capacitors bad, and do they all need changed? No, probably not. The ones that receive the most heat are the ones that need changed. Like this one will need changed here for sure. There's one or two in the vertical circuit for sure that needs changed, and I know that these three, possibly four of them, that one looks okay, but these three for sure need replaced. This one looks okay. This one looks okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They don't have to look bad to be bad, and they can look bad and still be good. So really, it doesn't mean anything. But for me personally, since I own this one and I want it to last the longest it possibly can, I'm going to change all of them so I can get the longest life I can possibly get out of it. It's debatable. Some people might only want to replace the 5 that are bad in here and roll with it, and that's fine. If you just want to do a simple repair and roll with it, that's 100% acceptable. You can do that. But when I'm doing a full restoration, that's part of the deal. I'm changing all of them out. Is it going to be expensive? Yes. It's going to be very time consuming. It's going to be expensive, but if I want it to last, you have to do it. That's what I'm trying to do. Doesn't mean that this transistor will spontaneously fail or this IC will go bad. Who knows? You just don't know. That's like, you know, the odds of you having a heart attack right now as you're watching this video. You just don't know. But I am going to do the best I can to perform preventative maintenance, and that includes changing these capacitors out, as well as paying attention to commonly occurring broken solder joints here. Oh man, that's all got to come off too. So let's see. No, flyback looks like, you know, this thing's been worked on before because the flyback has been resoldered. Oh, that's nice. They give you the voltages, the scan supply voltages. Alright, well, there's that one there that might need some solder. You can see some cracking going on in there, but other than that, I don't really see anything. There's the pincushion transformer. There's the high voltage drive transformer, horizontal drive transformer. Pincushion circuit is like a reactive, I forget the name of the circuit, but yeah. Flyback transformer there. That's why it's labeled FBT. So yeah, pretty bog standard for what it is. So yeah, I definitely want to get the cap list together and get this thing done. So let's pull this one out. Yeah, it's fun. like this tool because it makes quick work of pulling the solder out. That one's broken. That one's been busted off already. Alright. So we should be able to pull that out. Yeah, there it goes. That side's definitely going to want to come out. Maybe. I think I gotta, again, it takes two hands because I have to heat this up while pulling it up on it so I can break it free. But yeah, I gotta get under here to get to the solder joints of the caps on there. But that's not exactly critical right in this moment. I gotta get the cap list together and get an order together, but that's really it. That's all I can do for now. That was fun to get off because that was soldered all the way down. Yeah, that was pain to get that off, but I got it off. So yeah, that way I don't have to focus on that and worry about that when I finally get the parts in here to do this. So helpful. Yeah, I might have to touch some solder joints up here for sure. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell, especially this one down here at the end. Alright, well, yeah, I think all things considered, it's not too bad. There might be that one that's got to be done here. Let's see, that's the vertical output IC. I'm sure it's going to those three caps. I bet you one of those is bad. Almost guarantee it is. Alright, well, let's get the cap list and then we can conclude this video. I have my capacitor list now. That was a pain and I missed a couple. The layout is not exactly the scale, but I did the best I can. So I have my capacitor list now. Circled the low ESR. And I want to bring this point up because here's what I found out. This right here is a 33 microfarad at 35 volts, which I have indicated right here. But this is a 33 at 16, all right? So it's a smaller voltage cap, but it's the same value, but look how much bigger it is. It's like, why is this 16 volt 33 much bigger than this 16 or the 33 at 35? This, you would think this would be bigger, but no. Reason why is because that is a low ESR high frequency capacitor. So anytime you get a low frequency capacitor, at least in this day, they're typically a bit bigger than what they would normally be. So I made sure to note that this whole section is low ESR. Same with this value here and this value, which is these two there, as well as these two over here, because they're right off the scan supply from the flyback transformer. Now, one thing I noticed as I was looking at this cap in the middle, you can see debris on the board where it looks like it may have been peeing everywhere. Sure, we have this glue that has to come off, this corrosive crap, but this cap might be leaking, so I'm curious if it actually is leaking or not. And how we're going to find that out is we are going to figure out where that is, and then we're going to suck it off, because it might be leaking, it might not. I don't know. No. I don't know, maybe. I heard a sizzle. Ooh, that stinks. Oh yeah, that stinks. That sucker's bad. For sure. Oh yeah. Yep. There you go. She's leaking. See the wet spots? Yeah, bad. So, yep, you can see where it got the wet spots on the board where this was sitting, so it's definitely bad. So, yep, the caps have got to go. Gotta clean all this up because this stuff corrodes. See what it's doing to the leads here? This circuit glue is the bane of my existence. Get rid of this crap. The Apple Macintosh Color Classic has this glue too. The resistor might need replaced, but I don't know its value. We'll see. Yeah, I got all that loose now. Clean all that up so it doesn't corrode anymore. Yeah. Alright, well, that one was for sure leaking. What is it? Another Daewoo. 330 at 35. Not surprised because that is likely a low ESR capacitor because it's off one of the scan supplies, which is right there. And I've noted the height and diameter and all that stuff. So I have it all done. This is the video amplifier circuit. You can see all three colors, red, green, and blue. So got the neck board all done, power supply is done. So we should be good to go now. Yeah, there's the other side. Again, low ESR. These are all standardized. And then, yeah. Well, that's going to conclude this one. So I'll bring you back when I get all the parts in and we start getting this thing, put together and reassembled. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and if you have a comment, please feel free to leave one. And you know what to do, hit the like button, subscribe button, and all that fun stuff. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed.